today, Week 7. The NCAA Chiefs will play the Los Angeles Chargers, who already seem like they are on a must-win game as they are 2-4. Basically, 4 games out if they lose. Chiefs win. The Chargers losing last week on a Monday night, only 6 days ago, and the Chiefs have only played almost 10 days ago. Chargers played Mecole Hardman and Justin Herbert. The Chiefs beat the Broncos 10 days ago. As we talked about, the Chargers lost. In some people's opinion, these are two of the best quarterbacks in the league. Watch out for Chargers wide receiver Mike Evans and Travis Kelce. Also watch for great defensive players Joey Bosa and Chris Jones. Defensive end, primary position, defensive tackle for Chris Jones. Sometimes line up on the left side. Let's get more into Mecole Hardman edition by 810.
Gradually get better as he works with them. He worked with them all the offseason. They're going to be fine. They're going to be fine at wide receiver. Okay, I think that was just before they hit the Detroit game. And ever since that game, and ever since what's been going on this season, I think everybody has a huge question mark about this wide receiving core because they really haven't seemed to get any better. And that is a concern.
I object.
So you're
I object. Rashee Rice is
one
better.
guy has.
Oh, okay.
That's about it,
All right,
though.
one guy. Okay. And I agree with you. Okay, I think he's got potential.
And that's the one. If one guy in that group was going to get better, that's the guy you'd want. The guy they sunk a second-round pick in. I think it's the guy.
Well, you were hoping for a Sky Moore to really take another step and get forward, and he hasn't done it. So,
and I don't think he's ever going to take a big step forward personally, but
would have by now.
Next year,
next year, one more year,
3 years. Devontae Adams didn't do much for 2 years, and then became a superstar.
Yeah.
So now I'm not predicting superstar for Sky Moore. I'm predicting mild improvement, and he'll be a one contract guy. Yeah, that would be my prediction right now.
Yeah, he'll be usable going forward until he's done.
He had a hell of a punt return that helped this team win a championship.
Right.
So, he's got a soft spot in my heart.
Yeah.
I got no malice towards the guy, but I think it should be pointed out the idea that they're not doing anything at wideout is erroneous. They, in the last 2 years, have drafted Sky Moore in the second round, have drafted Rashee Rice, traded up for Rashee Rice in the second round,
right,
and then traded a third-round pick and a conditional pick for Kadarius Toney.
Uh-huh.
They signed Marquez Valdez-Scantling going into last year in free agency. They signed Justin Watson last year.
Juju.
They signed Juju Smith-Schuster last year.
He's gone now, but they signed him.
Right, they signed him. So
very instrumental.
I object to the idea that they're not trying at wideout. They're trying. They just haven't hit a home run yet. And Rashee Rice might very well be that home run before it's all said and done.
Right. Rice looks like he could really be a really valuable piece for this team. Whether he is all-pro wide receiver or not, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But adding Mecole Hardman, you had a guy who is familiar with this offense, too. And that really helps. Plus, he can also return kicks. He can return punts.
Kick time for the Chiefs and Chargers. Chiefs to host, 3:25. Games, Chiefs favored by 5.5, 30-24. Now let's go to the rest of the 3 o'clock games. Broncos, Green Bay, must win for Denver. Seems to be out of it. Denver, and must win, and also a pretty big win for the Packers. Patrick Surtain Jr. played looked out for it. His dad played for the Miami Dolphins, and his son plays for the Denver Broncos. His dad played for the Miami Dolphins, most notably in the Kansas City Chiefs. Jair Alexander is questionable. Watch out for A.J. Dillon and Russell Wilson. Jordan Love, who in his first year, but is not having a great season. The problem is, you look at it and you got to renew his contract in his final year, and he is in his 4th year being with the Green Bay program before him taking over for Aaron Rodgers this season. That game kicks at 3:25. The other 3 o'clock games, the Steelers and Rams meet up. Rams are favored by 3. George Pickens has had a good year for the Chargers. A top 3 player in yards. Puka, Nuka, Kenny Pickett, and Matt Stafford will go for it at the quarterback position. Since Stafford won the Super Bowl, you'd have to have Jared Goff as your quarterback, as Stafford hasn't been very good, as he has 6 touchdowns and 5 INTs. Pickett has 5 touchdowns and 4 INTs. That game kicks at 3:25 as well. The Cardinals and Seahawks kick at 3:05. 1 3-2 team, the Seahawks, and one really bad team, the Cardinals, who stink. DK Metcalf and Marquise Brown are players to watch out for. Both not having good season, but both members can be explosive. Metcalf has 337 yards, while Marquise Brown has 364 yards. That game kicks at 3:05. The game of the weekend could be the best matchup of the games. Eagles and Dolphins. The Dolphins will have former Tyreek Hill away to watch out for, as over 845 yards and could be on pace for 2,000. We had a discussion about him for MVP earlier this week. A great quarterback matchup in Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts. The Dolphins are 5-1, so are the Eagles. The Eagles lost to the Jets last week. The Dolphins' loss came to the Bills a few weeks ago. Kick is Sunday night at 7:20 from Philadelphia. Now on to the 12 o'clock games. The Lions will play the Ravens. Bijan Robinson looks for his first touchdown. Desmond Ridder and Baker Mayfield, the starting quarterback position. Baker Mayfield has been good enough to win his games, but he has and lead the Buccaneers to a 3-2 record. The Falcons haven't been very good. Kick is at 12. Both teams, or the Buccaneers are 3-2. The Falcons are 3-3. Game time is at 12 again. The Bills and Patriots will go ahead. Very good matchup of quarterbacks who have been really aggressive in Josh Allen and Mr. Unaggressive in Mac Jones. The Bills are 4-2 and had a performance against the Giants that was less than thrilling. Josh Allen is being very risky and aggressive, but if you want to win the Super Bowl and be aggressive, that's the best way to do it, I guess, is be aggressive. But if you're too aggressive on that day, you'll lose. I'll take the Bills 30-20. Also, watch out for Moana and Matthew Judon at the linebacker positions. Kick is at 12. The Commanders and Giants. The Giants haven't been very good, nor has Washington, but they are 500. The Washington Commanders, but lost to the Chicago Bears. Quarterback Sam Howell hasn't been very good. Neither has Daniel Jones. Bijan Robinson has just 3 touchdowns. Bijan Robinson hasn't had a touchdown, but has had some good starts. And Saquon Barkley is back in the starting running back position, and he was last week. Game time is at noon. Look at that running back position to be a key battle. The Bears and Raiders. The Bears stink. Obviously, the Raiders haven't been very good either. The Raiders without their quarterback, and so are the Bears, as it looks like it will be Brian Hoyer for Week 7 for the Raiders and Bears. Look for both receivers, as DJ Moore is having a heck of a season despite what the Bears are having. And look out for Devontae Adams. They led 24-3 at the end of half, having one time a 24-0 lead. And then South Carolina outscored them. At the end, they got a field goal, which made it 24-3. And then Missouri only outscored South Carolina by 1, but by that time it was over. It was 34-12. Missouri would play Georgia next. Also, Luther Burden had his second 90 yards in a second. Mookie Cooper is also very good, and Cody Schrader has 807 yards for the Missouri, and he was great today as he had 159 yards. Mizzou will play Georgia. Kansas State shows how big of a walk back TCU has taken this year as Kansas State rolls 41-3. Will Howard only goes for 169. 41-3. Kansas State is 5-2. TCU is 4-4. We'll see if Kansas State gets back into the polls. Ohio State beats Penn State 20-13. The score came too late when it was 20-12, and the extra point was good. 20-12 was the final. UFC Oklahoma beats UFC 31-29. Air Force number 22 beats Navy 17-6. Washington loses to Oregon number 9 38-24. Alabama comes over in the second half as Tennessee got out 13-0, but the rest of the game Alabama scored them by 34. The final was 34-20. Tulane beats North Texas 35-28. Iowa beats 12-10. Texas beats Houston 31-24, and Texas beats Houston 31-24. Virginia upsets number 10 North Carolina 31-27. A Drake money throw interception by Virginia completes the upset. UNC led Virginia 24-14 into the third quarter. But by the end of the third quarter, it was 24-all. Noah Brent would take a field goal, touchdown Malika Williams, and then the interception came. Touchdown Malik Washington. Then the interception came for them to win the game. 31-27, UVA over North Carolina. North Carolina drops to 6-1, and UVA is 2-5. Ole Miss stays alive as after 14-7 they led the rest of the way. And a close loss for Auburn. Michigan State 49 Michigan 0 Michigan State. Michigan rolls over Michigan State number 2. Duke Florida State beats Duke 38-20. The 4 beats a 16. Expect them to come. Maybe Army LSU rolls 62-0. USC USC leads most of the way, but Utah needs a key field goal to win it at the end. UCLA and Stanford. UCLA 42. Stanford 7, Washington 15, Arizona State 7. That's your game. Survives over Arizona State.
Some people just know there's a podcast about that. Are you listening to a podcast?
This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report.